Let's talk about King Richard, because
Sure.
I was on SportsCenter when Richard Williams was saying about his daughters, how terrific they were, and they were going to change the game. And I remember when Serena first started playing, we're like, okay, she's not going to be as good as Venus, and he says she's going to be better. And we're all like, oh, okay, you have our attention. And then he was right.
Right.
So what did you learn about this process going through all this, playing the tennis coach, Rick Macci, in this, John?
Look, I mean, I think I think a lot of people are going to walk into this movie, with a bunch of preconceptions that will prove to be sort of misconceptions, and I think we'll sort of have this narrative about what I think there's something that goes with sort of the overbearing sports parent that we think that's just this enormous amount of pressure, this sort of unwillingness to sort of bend and to make sure, for lack of a better word, just to always be sort of, kind of having, just pushing the kids forward, making sure they reach their goals. I think people are going to be really surprised when they really see sort of what kind of his plan and what his method was. And most of it was really removing the pressure that he puts on his kids and making the game fun for them. I think the movie kind of ultimately is this beautiful sort of meditation on fatherhood and on family and on faith. I think it's. I'm really proud of this one. I don't say that all the time with the movies that I'm in. I think what Will does and what these two young women do is staggering. And look, for me, it's a sport. I played sports in college. I grew up playing sports. Never played tennis before, but getting sort of the mindset of a tennis coach. I trained extensively. They let me train my own top 50 junior women's tennis player to sort of like learn the vocabulary of coaching. And I learned a ton about the sport and just how unbelievably mental it is. And I came away having a ton of respect for it and a ton of respect for the Williams as a family, in a new way. And I think, look, I think raising sort of, one superstar, best athlete of all time is miraculous, but doing it twice is just, I mean, there's like no words for it. And I think you really see sort of you get a front row ticket to sort of seeing what the process was there. And this is not just like sort of a highlight reel of the great moments of the Williams sisters' lives. It's really about the family and how the family kind of got them there and how it was really this collective familial effort. And I think it's pretty beautiful.
So you coached a top 50 player. Is that why Emma Raducanu won the U.S. Open? Because we were wondering how she got that. Was that you, John? Is that your doing?
Man, in the juniors. It was more, look, the guy who made the film, Ronaldo Marcus Green, he's an awesome director. He and I connected immediately. Look, we both play college baseball. We both come at this whole thing from athletics. And it's important to us that, you make a movie about a sport, you got to get the sport right. And for me, admittedly, not knowing anything about tennis, I said the only way this is going to work is I got to lose a ton of weight. I got to look like a tennis player. And then I got to really learn the game. And what was really great, what I'm super grateful to him and sort of for Warner Brothers in general for doing is they didn't only provide me the infrastructure to learn the game, but they let me learn how to train someone. Again, the vocabulary of that, how you train, how you feed, different drills. And, the way that these folks at the Wheel Tennis Center in Ojai, California trained me is they let me actually work with one of their players. And it was great. I got to go see her compete. I got to train her myself. It was awesome. And now I'm taking that on to my youngsters.
So it's Emma Raducanu, right? That's who it was. I mean, just say it, John. It's okay if you coached her up like that. I mean,
man, I signed an NDA, man.
Okay, very good. All right. So were any of the Williams family around? Like, did Will Smith pick the brains of Richard Williams, and were Serena and Venus any part of this at all? John?
They were. Their sister Isha was on set every single day, and she's a producer, and she was enormously helpful. And that's one of the other things you're going to find out about this family and all of the sisters. They they all are extraordinarily talented and successful in their paths. And that was sort of one of Richard Williams's rules. I mean, there was no tennis unless the grades were perfect. And there was no, you had to go to church. You had to, you had to do your chores. You had to, it wasn't just sort of tennis over everything. It was, how is tennis going to serve you, not how are you going to serve tennis. And then Serena and Venus, they were around. They did come to set. I had a wonderful conversation with Serena, right off the jump, just talking about Rick Macci and talking about, I think, look, again, as an athlete, I credit so much of my success and my happiness and my peace of mind to the wonderful coaches that I had coming up. And I was trying to think, what makes a coach great? And I think, Rick Macci, what everyone says about him who played under him sort of to a person, they just made the game fun. Everything was a game. He was larger than life. He always wanted to keep you laughing, always wanted to keep you happy. And, to remember that the game needs to be fun. And Serena said that, her time at Rick Macci's was one of the funnest times of her life. And so I really try to take that to heart.
Yeah, he coached Roddick and Capriati and also Sharapova. It's, and so did you reach out to him as well? Did you connect with him?
Yeah, we did. We spoke, and he's got a book and a ton of stuff on the internet. He's going to be at the premiere this weekend. I can't wait to shake his hand and meet him in person. But he's real happy with the movie. And look, he's an interesting character, man. He's got his own vocabulary. He's got these things called Macyisms. Let's put a little more mustard on that hot dog and find the slot, rip the shot, that kind of stuff. And he's constantly sort of doesn't mind being kind of the butt of the joke, just as long as that's getting you to play harder. And I really respect that. He's got this pure love for the game. And I think that's why ultimately sort of Richard Williams let him fit into the sort of overall plan and eventually hired him and then moved to Florida to go live on his, and be a part of that academy. And, I think these are two guys that really were used to doing things their way. And, the compromise that Rick sort of had to take in order to work with Richard, I think that calls for some of the most interesting stuff in the film.
Okay. Are you a serve and volley guy, John, or are you, what are you? Are you like a magician, like Federer? What are you?
I just like to let my sheer athleticism, win the day. You know what I mean?
You grit it out. You got to tough it out. Those 5 setters. That's how you survive. All right. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.